Good morning, everyone!
Good morning!
Full disclosure, it's not morning for us.
It isn't, sorry.
We've had a busy morning.
Yes.
So it's actually afternoon time. So we might look a tiny bit more awake. What's new? What's new?
I've got the gardening bug.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's also a wasp right behind you.
I didn't do my, and here we are.
Come on.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? And here we are. Another day, another destiny.
It's never ending road to Calvary.
Right, so, what's new?
I've got the gardening bug.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just want to make everything look flowery and pretty.
Oh.
Yeah. I specifically want to get some kablooms. They're like seed bombs that I've seen online. Like biodegradable grenades, shaped like grenades, but they're filled with compost and loads of seeds. And you shake it, soak it, throw it.
Bop it.
Flick it, spin it. Yeah, and then loads of flowers grow, but they do ones that are specific to like butterfly friendly flowers and bee friendly flowers and bird friendly flowers, so I want to go get some.
Today?
Yeah, well, our garden centre has opened down the road with social distancing, and my mask came the other day, so I'm thinking maybe a little trip.
Yeah, great. Get your C bomb, get your B bomb. Yeah?
Yeah.
We blossom. Anything that you need to say to the world?
No.
Do I need to say anything? No, not really. Oh, we watched, last night we watched Gangs of London.
We
for
did.
The first time. The first episode's at like 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
So you're in it for a long haul. What do you think?
It was good. I did wake up thinking about it this morning.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
It's very, very violent.
Yeah, it's pretty like graphic.
Like, yeah.
And the punchy fights.
I didn't struggle with it, but I did sort of anticipate a few moments, and I was like, I am just going to close my eyes for this.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's very good. It's like hooked me. I want to see.
You laugh at me though, because I make noises when I watch stuff like that.
What do you mean?
I sort of shout a little bit.
Yeah.
And I can hear you laughing at me next to me.
Yeah. See, that sort of like bar fight, like blood and whatever doesn't really do anything to me. But you're like, you sort of squirm away from it, don't you?
Well, just when you see something that's like quite...
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is. It's more than just sort of like people getting punched in the face. It's like things that are specifically quite uniquely violent. Things that you don't often see in your average TV show and movie. You know what I mean? Like, I do often think when I watch stuff like that, who came up with that idea? Like, that would be a really good idea for him to do that very specific thing to that one person in that fight. Comes from a very special place in someone's brain. That, I think. Dark
place. Well, so yeah, that's good. Gangs of London. Check it out if you've not seen it already. Right. Again, thank you for the emails. I've been scouring through, having a little look. Very good topics being thrown out there, so do keep them coming. But I want to talk about this one today, and I think it's good because we're all sort of going through it at the moment. All the actors in the world. And this is sent in from a girl called Sophie R, aka Heather Chandler, in the comments. Obviously a massive Heather's fan. So she said, could you please talk about how to deal with post-show depression? It's something I struggle with a lot, and I really need some advice because it affects me for quite a while. Lots of love, Sophie R. So, do you suffer from this?
The time that I suffered the most with post-show blues
Also
was when I was in Les Mis when I was 16, and it was like a Harrow School's production, and I think it's because we spent like 3 months rehearsing for it to only do like 4 or 5 performances. So it was like the amount of like work and effort and attachment that we created in the cast then had like very little payoff because we only had 5 performances. And so I think that was when I felt it the most, because actually doing the show didn't last anywhere near long enough. However, when I've been in shows professionally as an adult, I feel like I've been in them for long enough to be able to get to the end and go, I can close that chapter. Whilst it's so emotional on the last day, it'll always be sort of bittersweet, because I'll always be like, I'm going to miss everyone so much and I'm going to miss the show so much, but now I've done it, you know what I mean? Like, especially when I got to the end of Eponine, because I was in it for almost 3 years, which is a very long time to do one part. So I did get to the end and go, I've done it now. Like, I can come away from this going, I have fulfilled that dream and that role, and I got everything out of it that I could possibly get out of it, and I gave everything that I could possibly give to it. And I feel like I've kind of always felt that with the show. The only show that I still look back at and go, oh my God, I miss it so much, is The Addams Family.
Yeah. Because
it was a relatively short tour, and like I think I've said in other videos, that part kind of ticked all the boxes for me. So whilst I miss every show that I've been in, I feel like every time I've got to the end, I've kind of gone, I'm ready to go.
See, that is an interesting thing, because I was going to say exactly the same. Like, in terms of post-show blues, or PSD, or whatever you call it, doesn't really, or it does exist, but nowhere near the same amount it does on the amateur level.
Yeah.
Because I remember that as well. I've done amateur shows, and you rehearse for like 7 months, because you only can do 1 day a week, and near the end you might do 2 days a week, like you might do the weekend. So it's just 7 months of just like pure like excitement for it to start and do a show in front of people. And you do what, 1 show, 2 shows, 3 shows, maybe 5 if you're
even if it's like a week's worth of shows, you're like, it's just nowhere near enough.
I remember like living that life of like what it would feel like to be a professional in show week. Getting to the theatre, like your local theatre, having your dressing room, putting your makeup on or whatever, like meeting your mates beforehand, getting like, go for coffee, just living that life because you might have booked it off for work that week, whatever. And it's amazing. But so when that ends, that weekend, that show you've been rehearsing for 7 months, it sucks because you're like, oh my God, because then I've got to go back to work now on Monday, whatever. I so agree, and I think it is true. It doesn't really transfer the same to professional theatre, only because, like you said, like your contracts are long enough. Really, most contracts are long enough to scratch that itch.
Yeah, and also I think when you're in like a year contract, when you're 3-4 months into that, you start auditioning for things that are coming after, and hopefully you get something midway through your run of one job for afterwards. So when you're ready to leave that job that you're already in, you're sort of excited to leave because you know what's coming next. You know that there's a new job and a new family and a new story and a new character to explore. That
happened to me in Mormon, because in my 2nd year, so I was first cover Price then, first cover Joseph Smith, like fine, like living a good life, living a dream sort of thing, and halfway through the year you get these forms. Don't know if you guys know about this. I don't think every production company do it, but they do in Mormon. So you get a form saying, 1, would you like to stay? Would you like to extend your contract for another year? Can't really remember, but the main questions are, would you want to stay? Yes or no. If you would want to stay, are there any covers or responsibilities you are interested in? And so I got this form probably like June time, and like my contract doesn't end till January, so it's like 6 months in, and they're like, do you want to stay?
Yeah,
because they've got to start auditioning for the new cast. And in my head I'm like, I don't know if I want to stay. The only reason I would have stayed was if I could be Price, like bump up to the actual part. A couple of months down the line, whispers in the company that the current Price, KJ, was staying another year. So I'm like, well, that's me gone. So this was around about August time now that I'm like, okay, like, I'm leaving Mormon, like, because there's nothing for me here. So it's like a leap of faith. First audition, Addams Family, and I booked Addams Family, I think October time. So then it was like a leap of faith, and it worked out. But the main point being is that my last months of Mormon, like my last show was like like my last prize show, for example, was emotional, but not nowhere near like what it was on amateur level for that professional. Like,
yeah, because you were ready to go.
Yeah, but also, what amazingly, I had Adam's Family in the pipeline. I knew that as soon as Mormon would finish, I had 6 weeks off. So I had 6 weeks to chill. I went to the gym or whatever, just kept in shape.
Yeah.
And started Adam's Family rehearsals. So like, when like the world aligns like that, I think you don't miss it as much.
Yeah.
Like when you go in from one job to another,
yeah,
it's not as bad. But like when you have nothing lined up and you finish a job and you're like, oh my god, I've got nothing to go into now, that is a scary
yeah, I think that's less post-show blues though and more just the fear of what's coming next.
Yeah. But I think you would miss it, like you would get more upset about leaving.
Yeah,
You'd be like, oh my god, I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
This job's amazing.
Yeah.
What have I done? Like.
But that's less to do with the job and more to do with just not having anything to go on to. Because I feel like contracts are usually anywhere, like especially in like long running shows, they're anywhere between 6 months to a year, which is huge compared to like a week's worth of shows or, you know, a few performances that you do in Amdram. So usually you do get to the end of your year going, I'm good, I'm ready to go. Luckily, I've always been, when a job's ended, I've always been like, I feel alright. I've never been emotional at anything, really. I don't cry when I finish a job. But like, I can reflect on my like jobs I've done, and I think the only one I feel like I would want like a longer run at it would be High Fidelity for me. I'd want a cover, to be honest, as well. I would. I'd want someone to cover me so I could go off, mainly. But if they were like, right, we're picking up High Fidelity again for another like 10 weeks, I'd be like, oh, that's amazing. But if they were like, we're picking up, you know, Hairspray, and you're gonna be Link again, I'd be like, it'd be fun to do for a bit, but it wouldn't satisfy me enough. I think the only one I really miss, like character and show, would be High Fidelity. Yeah. Playing Rob. I kind of feel like that about Heathers. If they were like, right, we're doing Heathers again, we'd love you to play Veronica, but you'll have an alternate. Yeah. We're doing it for long enough so that you'll have Holiday. Yeah, yeah. There'll be 2 covers instead of just the one, and they won't cover, like, because the Veronica cover also covered Heather McNamara. So if me and Sophie Isaacs were both off at the same time, what would have happened? Yeah. So yeah, enough covers, Holiday, alternate, I'd be like, great. You do like get emotional when shows end though, don't you? I am. Because you do cry. Yeah, I hate it. Yeah. I hate it. So why is that then? So what is your I just can't deal with goodbyes. I don't like change. I don't like change. Even if I know something's coming, I know there'll be a transition period where I'm going to have to get used to like a new group of people and a new routine and a new theatre. I don't like that transition period. If I could stay in the same theatre with the same group of people and do, like every year we do a different show, I'd be thrilled. I probably wouldn't get sad. Yeah. I wouldn't get sad. In fact, I know I wouldn't get sad because it's not the show that I miss, it's the people and the atmosphere and the place. And having that like home. So it feels like moving house once a year and moving family once a year. That's what breaks my heart. Well, the reason I sort of picked this today, this sort of topic as well, I thought it was really interesting because we're both sort of in the same boat in terms of leaving a cast without our last nights. Yeah. Because of coronavirus. So obviously Back to the Future should have finished on the 18th of May. And we stopped doing shows on the something like March the 16th. 17th. Yeah, so we lost 2 months, the last 2 months of our contract. So we had our final night drinks or final whatever on Zoom. We had a Zoom chat a couple of weeks ago. I was sat outside and we all had a drink and we're like, yay, hope everyone's all right. It sucks, but obviously yours was slightly different. I was supposed to go back on April the 20th, which has been and gone. Yeah. And I'm meant to be finishing my run as Fontaine on July 25th, but that's not happening now. Yeah. Like, I feel kind of lucky in my case though, because I left Les Mis for my 7-week stint to work on Cinderella. Yeah. So I got to say goodbye to people. I got to have like my little moment of like, well, I'll see you in 7 weeks, bye everyone. And so I kind of did get
your final
an end,
night,
but I kind of feel quite lucky because I got to have that goodbye, and I got to have everyone go, oh, we're gonna miss you, you know what I mean, blah blah blah, without the emotion behind it. I wasn't like distraught, and I didn't have to sing I Dreamed a Dream, because that's the worst thing as well about final night. It's not just like saying goodbye to people, it's having to do your final show knowing that's your final show. I would have been like, I dream, I dream.
Yeah.
I would have like throat closed up like, oh my god. Would have been awful. So yeah, that show is always like a nightmare. I remember my final show in Dubai as Eponine, knowing that was, I would never play Eponine again unless it was like in a concert, you know what I mean? I knew I'd never play Eponine again. I remember coming off from Little Fall of Rain after my death and just crying for like an hour.
I think we spoke about this before, but just to sort of end it, because you sort of touched on it then, about doing last shows, and like, if you're singing, if you know it's your last show and you're singing I Dreamed a Dream, which is like an emotional song anyway, sometimes doing your last show, the script and the songs do not help. And the underscore, like, I know you've got loads, but I'll just quickly say the Mormon one, I've said it, definitely said it before, but it just rings true in my head. It's those last lines that Price says, and there's just the music underneath about all being best friends and we can do it together, and you know, it's just a sort of lovely end to a show, and the music is just like so beautiful, and I'm sure there's loads like headers and
we were listening to Adam's Family the other day, we were listening to Move Towards the Darkness.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh my god, because you're saying goodbye to all of the ancestors at the end of the show, and it's like, this massive chorus of all these voices, and I remember being like, not being able to sing and just having my mouth open like,
it's really
waving to Fester as he flies to the moon, like absolutely ridiculous.
And then like all the ancestors go into back into the crypt,
and they all say goodbye in their own way, so like they'll all like, you know, bow at you, and the warriors would do like, that's Wakanda Forever, but I remember Perilla doing, well, Perilla used to do that, didn't she?
Yeah, something like that,
She used to do that. Jacob used to do some kind of like matador thing, and oh my god, and just watching them all go and saying goodbye to them all, and we'd all like do our things back and whatever, and it was just, I remember going as well because Rona and Jake used to stand next to me when you were over the other side of the stage. So Lurch does his bit, and then Morticia and Wednesday sing Move Toward the Darkness, and I was like, hold it together, hold it together, hold it together, and I was like looking at the back of Dickens' head like, just hold it together, it's all fine, don't look around. And then when everyone joins in, that's when I've got to turn to Jake and Rona, and I remember seeing both of them just like tears streaming down their face, and I was like, oh god, and that was when I couldn't sing anymore, just miming words.
I'm sure people out there have been to like final nights or cast changes of like musicals or...
Well, the bootleg of Heathers is our final night at Haymarket.
Yeah, so they've witnessed people just like crying. But if you're there for a final night, most 90% of the audience is going to be like, we know why this is happening. Yeah,
we're here because it's the final night. But the Heathers bootleg is hilarious because I'm like holding it, I was so proud of myself for holding it together, because Jenny stopped singing because Jenny got really emotional. Jenny O'Leary, who played Martha. So we're singing Let Us Be 17, if no one loves me now, someday somebody will. And that's when our harmony splits, and she sings the lower harmony, and she stops, and I'm like, can we be 17? Something to make it right. And I turned to Sophie, and Sophie was distraught. Like she was like, she was like that, like properly crying. And I hold out my hand to her, and I just broke. I couldn't sing anymore, and I was like, oh my god. You see me look down, and Jenny like gives my hand a tug, and everyone starts like cheering, and I was like, no, don't cheer because it makes it worse. I'm getting more emotional because I like the fact that you're all on my side and you're all rooting for me makes me like way more emotional. This is so hard. But yeah, that's the worst I've ever been on stage, because usually I'm like, I can get through this, I can get through this, I can get through this. But when you're like someone centre stage singing these lyrics that mean so much, like they're such emotional lyrics, and then being the one who's got to hold everything together, that's the worst that's ever been for me. I was a mess.
Well, that's that PSD or PSB, whatever you
Post-show blues.
Thanks for popping by, everyone. It's been emotional. Be safe out there. Don't stop me now. That's not the tune. What was it?
I feel like you've done that one.
I don't know what I'm saying. Don't eat grass unless you're a cow. 5-1.